So still on the underside. This is the underside where the petrol tank fits, and that under seal has done quite well, or in the middle anyway. Around the edges is a bit crusty, little patch in there. This is a hole, purpose-made hole for an exhaust for a petrol-driven heater that used to sit on the back shelf, which I've taken out. I don't quite fancy that just behind my head. I've got that plate in there, tucked it around the corner, and I'm trying to put the top one in. This is that angle piece. Those two holes I put in previously, those are for the handbrake fittings, and I want to try and get this one in without tipping the car over. So I'm going to retain this piece. This is an original piece here, and all the handbrake gubbins is behind that. That's a bit of a complicated area. So I'm going to leave that in and butt weld up to there, continuous weld, and try and get it in with that position. It's going to be more difficult to weld up inside the tunnel. Let's give it a go. And here you can see, this is my replacement floor here. So this is the underside of the floor where the seat fits, and then it just bends up into the tunnel, because the bottom of the tunnel was rotten. So when I put this new plate in, this angle bracket, that will cover all that up. So this second bit of angle ready to go in. I've drilled some holes here so that when I've welded it from this side, I can go inside and spot weld that. And I just have to try and remember not to weld these up, because this is for the handbrake. One there and one there. Right, there's the second angle piece tacked into place. And here's my plate. So it's important, I think, to get this, I took that round the edge there and welded it in. It's important, I think, to get this to fit as well as you can, because once you start tapping it into place, it's so thick you're probably moving the tunnel rather than moving the plate. But that's fairly snug all the way around, so try and weld that in. So moving on from the floor, that's the left hand floor where the seat fits, so that's my new one. This is my old one. You can see the floor curls up the transmission tunnel, and it had all rotted along there. That's where the handbrake fittings go, at the back of the car. This is that heavy piece of angle that has rotted through. So I kept this because this has got to go on. This is the heat resistant panel that goes above the exhaust, and there was a piece of asbestos stuff in between there, sandwiched, and I kept this just to get the dimensions. And rather than any asbestos type product, I'm going to use this heat resistant cloth. I think it'll be less rattly. So I'll make a new one of these, and I'll just fold the edges up just so as I can trap the cloth in there. That's the first one cut out. So I've left a 20mm excess, which will be my fold area, and this is some reclaimed aluminium sheet I've got, which is a bit wrinkly in places, but for this application I think it'll be fine. There's one panel temporary in place, just a couple of screws holding that in. Here's another one ready to go in, that's obviously the back. And I managed to get 2 layers of that stuff in there, that cloth. And I've just done a little test. I've just made up a little patch, and I've hit that with oxyacetylene flame. That's melted the aluminium, but the backing's still pretty much okay, so it seems to work. So I think that sort of back end mostly ready for paint.